this is working. Okay, so in this lesson, let's first go over. Everything is either going to be Pythagorean theorem, converse of Pythagorean theorem, or a distance formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared is the Pythagorean theorem. The distance formula, x2 minus x1 quantity squared plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. Okay? Those are our two choices. Number one, which group of numbers could be the measures of the sides of a right triangle? So let's first, is this a Pythagorean theorem question or a distance formula question? It's a Pythagorean theorem. That means I need it to fit in this format. So we need to do literally guess and check. What is, for A, what is 200 squared? 400. Is it 400? It's 4,000. What is 400 squared? 16,000. What is 600 squared? Is 4,000 plus 16,000 equal to 36,000? You should say 36,000. Is that equal to that?
Yeah. No.
No. So it's not that one. Okay? The next one, 6, 8, and 10.
36%.
What is 36? Okay, 6 is 36. 8 squared is what?
64.
And what is 10 squared?
100.
Is 36 plus 64 equal to 100?
Yes.
So guess what? That's the answer. Okay? I'm going to erase that. I'm going to go on to problem 2. Find the length of side AB in triangle ABC shown on the coordinate plane. Round your answer to the nearest unit. Do not use the answers below. These are not going to be 0, correct? So I want to find AB. So how long is AC? It goes from -3 to positive, actually these are counting by 2's, correct?
Yes.
That's -3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that says 6. So what is this? Sorry, it's not counting by 2's, it's regular. So -3 to 5. How many spaces is that? 8. Okay? For this side, you're going from 2, -2, up to 3. How many spaces is that? 5. Do you see how we got the lengths here of 8 and 5? Do you all follow that? Yes? Who said no? Okay, Bethany. Do you not get the 8? Do you not get the 5? Or do you not get either of them?
I don't get the 8 and the 5.
Okay, so let's look back here. This line, as far left as it goes, is right here, correct? That is -3, correct? It goes all the way over to 5. How many spaces is it from -3 to 5? It's 3 on this side and 5 on this side makes a total of what? 8. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. This goes as far down as -2, right? And as far up as 3. What is the distance from -2 to 3? 5. So now, yes. Oh, okay. 8 squared is plus 5 squared is equals c squared. So in using a calculator, 64 plus 25 is 89 equals c squared. So now what do I do to find c? Square root, not divided by 2. The square root on your calculators It's a little button that looks like that with the X. So 89, so that rounds to 9.4, and that is the answer. So for number 3, already this looks a little weird. So Cecily uses a diagram to show the Pythagorean Theorem. How are the area of the squares related? Well, let's just talk about, let's not even look at this drawing for a minute, because I understand that the drawing might be confusing you. Look at the Pythagorean Theorem. What is this? We're squaring what? And we're squaring what? B. And A and B represent what?
C.
Okay, no, A and B actually represent legs, and C is the hypotenuse. So if she's using this model, do you see how this is a square, correct?
Yeah.
It has a length of 3. It also has a width of 3, this square. It's a square. If it's a square, both sides are 3. Everything's 3, right? What's 3 times 3? 9. This next one has a side length of what? 4. It also has a depth, or whatever the other dimension is, of 4. 16. Okay? And this 5 by 5 is 25. When you have this question, a question like this on the quiz, there's going to be different, like, multiple choice things. Basically, you're looking for what? How are the areas of the squares related? The area of the squares of both legs is equal to what?
A squared plus B squared?
No, the area of the squares of both legs added together is equal to C squared. What does C squared represent? The hypotenuse squared. So the area, right, isn't this area?
Yeah.
Of the squares of the legs, right? When I square something, I'm actually getting the area. Second dimension is area. Second. Basically, that's saying the area of the squares, or the squares of the legs added together. What's the fancy math word for added together? Sum is equal to the hypotenuse squared. Do you have a question over here? Not right now. Okay? So that's what you're looking for. Something that talks about the fact, say it again, I'm going to say it closer to the microphone. Something that talks about the fact that if you take the area or the square of the legs and add them together, it's going to equal the square or the hypotenuse squared area of the hypotenuse. A community is building a square park with side lengths that measure 150 meters. It's a square park. So this is 150 and that's 150, right?
Yeah.
So they want to separate the picnic area from the play area, and so they want to split it in half by putting a diagonal. Determine the approximate length of the diagonal line. Is this not a right triangle?
It is.
It is.
So am I using Pythagorean theorem or am I using distance formula?
Distance form.
I'm actually using what?
Oh.
Okay, guys, that's what I want to point out.
How do you pronounce it?
Pythagorean theorem, because I'm dealing with finding the length of a hypotenuse in a right triangle, okay? So, this is 150, right?
Yeah.
What's this? 150, right? So, a squared, 150 squared, plus b squared equals c squared. So 150 times 150,
22,500.
okay? And I'm going to do that twice, right?
Yeah.
So 22,500 plus 22,500
45,000.
is that number. Now what I need to do, the length's not 45,000, I need to take the
Square.
square root.
So it's 212.1.
So- Okay, it says round to the nearest meter. That means whole number. So the answer is 212. Find the missing length in the right triangle. Are we finding a leg or are we finding a hypotenuse?
Hypotenuse.
So, one of the legs is 6. What's 6 squared?
36.
And then the other one is 8. What's 8 squared?
60.
So 36 plus 64 equals, what's the square root of 100?
10.
I just want to point something out here, guys. Look at B in number 1. 6, 8, 10.
That's my thing.
6, 8, 10. I didn't make it, but I don't,
That's pretty ironic.
okay? This week found was solve the unknown side length of the right triangle. Once again, what are we finding?
Hypotenuse.
So I can't read that well. I don't have my glasses. What does this say?
15.5.
This one, 15.5?
Yeah.
15.5, hold on, squared is 240.25, right? What? Yeah, there's a button for squaring. Yeah, there's a button for squaring, guys. On your calculator, it's X with a little 2. Okay? Next, 12.5 squared is 156.25, correct?
It's next to square root of the button.
So I'm going to add those together. Is that number? 396.5. So now I'm going to press the square root button. And I need to round to the nearest hundredth. 19.91.
That's the answer?
That's the answer.
So what did we do to get it? To get the A?
Okay, so once again to do it, you took the, excuse me, can you stop talking? And now it's in the video with me asking you to stop talking. Man. I took this number. That's the A squared. I squared it. I wrote it down over here. I took this number. That's the B. I squared it. I added those together. That's going to equal C squared. So when I added those together, I then took the square root. My pleasure. So, who wants to read number 7 to me? Because I'm tired of reading. Okay, person that I'm pointing to up here because I can't say names. Okay, woo woo. Go ahead.
Find the hypotenuse.
No, number 7, the ladder.
The bottom of the ladder is placed 5 feet from the side of the building. The top of the ladder must be 15 feet off the ground. What is the shortest ladder that will do the job to the nearest foot?
Okay. So I have a ladder. I need this top here. I need this to be 15 feet. Because I got to reach something up there. Maybe I got to rescue somebody from a window. I don't know. And for safety reasons, there's like a curb or something, and I need this to only be 5 feet. This is obviously not drawn to scale, correct? But do you see how I made a right triangle?
Yes.
And I'm finding the what? The ladder is the hypotenuse. So,
the dimensions 15 and
5 squared is
25.
15 squared is,
225.
okay? This is going to be just like the one before. Add them together. 225 plus 25 is 250.
15.5.
And I'm going to take the square root of it. So I need to buy a ladder to the nearest foot.
So 15.
That's to the nearest foot is 16. I need to go buy a 15.8 is closer to 16 than to 15. I need to go buy a 16-foot ladder. If I buy a 14-foot ladder, I can't reach.
Even if it was like closer to 15, you stuck with a 16-foot ladder because it'd be too short.
Right, but they wanted, right. So technically, I would still need, even as 15.1, but this said, what was the ladder? What is the shortest ladder that'll do the job? Oh, she's right. So the shortest ladder, I see what you're saying. So if it's 15.2, we get a 15-foot ladder, even though that's closer, even though 15.2 is closer to 15, it'll be too short.
So is it 15 or 16?
It's 16.
Why a 100-foot ladder? They don't know where-
Yeah, you're not supposed to stand on the very. Wherever, but I think what they're saying, and I'm just recording this, I think they've built that into the thing. Like they're saying you need it to be at least 15 feet because maybe, yeah, that's where your waist is gonna be, and then you can still like reach up.
What is the shortest ladder? Shouldn't it be 15?
No, the 15's not gonna be long enough. You need at least 15.8. So 15's not long enough, okay? Okay, find the hypotenuse of the right triangle that has legs of 8 and 9. What's 8 squared?
64.
And what's 9 squared?
81.
And what's 64 plus 81? What? And what's 140? Oh, what's this?
145.
It's 145.
It's 145. Okay? And the square root of 145 is 12.04. So 12.04, it doesn't tell you what to round though to. Remember, on your test it will actually be multiple choice. So guys, if on your test they had 12 as one of the choices and 12.04 as one of the choices, hopefully you'd pick the 12.04, right? If they had 12 and 12.1, which one is closer? 12. Okay?
A boat travels 25 miles due north and then 60 miles due east. Then the boat travels in a straight line back to its starting point. What was the straight line distance of the boat to its starting point? Draw a diagram to help you see what you need to find.
Okay, if I draw a diagram, this is pretty straightforward, right? I go up 25 to the right 60, that's a 90-degree triangle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so am I finding a leg or the hypotenuse?
The hypotenuse.
What is 25 squared?
625.
What is 60 squared?
3600.
So 3,600 plus 625 is 4,225.
Then we have it there.
Then you have to do the square root,
Is 65.
65.
Wow.
Okay? Now for number 10, they're going to confuse me a little bit because am I finding the hypotenuse?
Yeah, no.
No, I'm finding a B, right?
Yeah.
So what does this number say right here? Because I can't see because I have no glasses.
5,
5. So 5 squared is
25,
plus B squared.
which is 13,
And what's 13 squared?
169.
169 minus 25 is what?
144, and that equals
And the,
12.
and the square root of 144 is 12. 11. Are we using Pythagorean Theorem? No, we're using distance formula. So it's a little hard to see this on there. What are your points? What? This is what?
That's 0, 4.
Negative 10, negative 4. And the other one is
4 and 1.
4, 1. So
4, 1.
I'm going to give you the formula, but basically x2 minus x1, quantity squared, plus y2 minus y1, quantity squared. So negative 10 minus 4, quantity squared. It's not negative 10 minus 4. Quantity means, it's in parentheses. Plus, quantity plus negative 4 minus 1, quantity squared. So, what is negative 10 minus 4?
Negative 14. Oh, no, 14.
It's actually negative 14 squared.
I thought you said
Hold on, we're going to square it in a minute. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. So, guys, realistically, you might do some of this in your head. Yes? No.
that's negative 14 squared is 196.
And what is 5? And 5 squared is 25. So what is 196 plus 25?
221.
And what is the square root of 221?
14.86.
Okay.
So
Shh.
15.
Okay? So,
15.
oh, so 14 or 14.9. Okay. It actually asks us, looking at it, what expression represents the distance. So I'm guessing that it's actually going to either ask you, if it was multiple choice, for this or this filled in. Okay?
Which answer would it be?
Either one of them. Well, I don't know what it'll be. It'll be multiple choice. Okay? Now, let me pause this and then restart it. Find the distance between these. So remember, x2 minus x1, quantity squared, plus.
Y2 minus Y1 squared.
Okay, so -3 minus 4, quantity squared. Then I have 8 minus -6. I know that's the same as adding, right? -3 minus 4 is what? -3 minus 4.
-7.
-3 minus 4.
-7.
I know, I'm waiting for him to catch on. Yeah, -7. -7 squared is
20.
29.
okay.
40.
Plus, remember, 8 minus -6 is the same as 8 plus 6, which is what?
14.
14 squared is,
168.
I think it's 196. We just did it, right?
Yeah.
So what is 196 plus 49?
245.
Okay, square root it. And they say to the nearest tenth.
So
15.
15.5.
It's not 0.5, this is 0.7. No, it's in between 6 and 7. It's 15.7.
There's a song. It's like 7.